Let's begin with a very important topic in Microsoft Excel, which is working with formulas. If you would like to understand the overview of Microsoft Excel, if you are new to Excel, then do check out the video mentioned in the suggestion link and also the link mentioned in the description box. You can also download this particular workbook on which we are working from the link mentioned in the description and in the suggestion link. So let's begin. The first topic is doing math with Excel. Now this is our worksheet. We know that these are columns A, B, C, D. There are around 16,000 columns, and on the left hand side where we have these numbers 1, 2, 3, there are more than million rows in Excel. So when I click on any particular area in this worksheet, this becomes my active cell, and the address of this cell is E19, which is also reflected here. Now let's begin. For example, if I want to add 11 and 22, what I can do is, first of all, golden rule. If you want to enter any particular formula in Excel, then you should always start with is equal to sign. After that, you can mention 11 plus 22 and then enter. Go back to this particular cell, press F2. You will be able to see the formula again and also the formula in the function bar, which is at the top here. Now this is one way of doing it. But let's say if I want to change these numbers from 23 and 45, now this will not change here in my answer. So if I want this to be a dynamic thing, then I can mention something like this is equal to C3, click here, plus C4. You can type it or click on the cell. Now press enter. So this gives me answer 66. Now this is dynamic because if I change anything here, my answer also changes here. Perfect. Now there is one more method when you can mention is equal to, mention sum. So this is a function. Now you will notice that as I'm starting to type SUM, Excel is giving me a lot of options. Like there are many functions which start with SUM. So it gives me a list here. You can select your function and press tab key. So it automatically opens up a bracket. Now you need to write your formula in this particular bracket. So I'm saying here, I want sum of these two numbers. So I have put my mouse here and I have selected these two numbers. So you will notice it has become like a range here. From C3 to C4. Add numbers from C3 to C4. Close the bracket and press enter. So here also I have my answer. Same way you can do subtraction, multiplication, division and power. So basically in order to add, we have used three different types. One, directly using constants. Second, we used cell reference C3, C4. And third, we used a function formula wherein we had inserted an argument that please sum the number in this particular range. We provided a range in the argument that we need to calculate sum in this particular range. You can also have multiple arguments separated by commas. Alright, next step. So a little more on functions here. Now let's say if I want to add all the numbers here, I can insert my formula as is equal to sum, open the brackets, select this range. So for selecting, what I'm doing is I'm right clicking on my mouse on the first cell, dragging it down and then leaving the right click button. You can also manually type these range D3 to D6, close the bracket and press enter. So here is my answer, 170. Now there is also an AutoSum function. So just click here where you need answer. Go on the top. Here is the AutoSum function. Here you can select sum, average, count, min, max. We want sum. So once you click it, it automatically selects the range which is just above it and press enter. So here also you get your answer. There is also a shortcut formula. So select the cell where you need answer and press Alt and is equal to together on your keyboard, and then so it will reflect the range and press enter, and that's how you can get the answer. Now there is also a count function which you can try, is equal to count and then select the range. The count basically counts the number of cells wherein there is a number in the cell. So basically here we can see there are 5 cells having numbers. Now if I remove 2 cells having numbers, then in the same range the count goes down to 3. You can read more about functions from here. Next step, average function. So again, this is same as we have done for sum. Here you can practice the average function, and also you can practice median and mode function. Next we have minimum and maximum function. Let's use one of the function. Let's use min. So is equal to min. Open the brackets, select the range and close. Enter. So here it shows me the minimum number in this particular selected range. So minimum number is 20. So that is my answer. So that's it about the introduction. Here you can click and find more help on this particular topic. Stay tuned for our next video. Next video is on date and time and concatenate function. Wish you a very happy learning experience. Thank you. Keep learning to keep winning. Subscribe to Times Right.